the game winner out of Flint. And then you've got one of the guys I think is the best player in the country. Got to be top 5, John, and Francisco Garcia can do it all at 6'8".
All Conference USA first team. There's Francisco Garcia, a 6'7" junior from the Bronx, New York. And he has the poise to win a game when the game's on the line a number of ways, with his defense or with a shot like he did at Marquette. We're ready to go. Steve Welmer gives it a toss, and the ball belongs to Marcus Sloan and TCU, and there is Corey Santee running the offense and guarded by Taekwon Dean. Shropshire. Number 4, Niall Murray. He's going to need to have a big game today if TCU is going to hang or beat Louisville in this one.
Now Murray, a transfer from Temple, very capable young man, can get you from the 3 and can put it on the deck.
Ibekunle nearly lost that one. 6 on the shot clock. Murray in heavy traffic. He traveled with the ball. Only 6 turnovers yesterday for TCU in the overtime win over Marquette.
You know, Marquette is not the type of team that's going to pressure you into a lot of turnovers. Very good half-court defensive team, but really stays solid in their defensive principles as compared to a Louisville team, very long and athletic, will shoot the gaps in the passing lanes and come up with steals.
Here's Miles to George stepping up and dropping it in. Otis George scores.
And when you get points early from Otis George, that's a bonus for Louisville.
And that's too tall. There's the second quick turnover with that pass strong for Marcus Shropshire. Now let's take a look at the Kelly Tires keys to the game, beginning with TCU.
Just talked about him. Now Murray has to really step up today and take some of the pressure off Corey Santee, and they have to handle the pressure defense, which they haven't done here in the first minute.
O'Bannon in the backcourt against TCU's pressure, and there's a 10-second call. Louisville turnover.
Good job by TCU giving Louisville some of their own medicine.
And Louisville's keys to the game, Stephen.
Well, Louisville always likes to force the turnovers with their pressure, and they have to dominate the glass this afternoon. They've been giving up some offensive rebounds the latter part of the regular season. They'd like to improve on that this afternoon.
TCU looking to inbound and way back to the backcourt. That's run down by Marcus Sloan. And here's Niall Murray. TCU with 6 turnovers yesterday, a season low, has committed 2 today and just forced a Louisville turnover, showing some pressure in the backcourt. Shropshire steps up, and an offensive foul on Marcus Shropshire. He played in 20 minutes against Louisville back in January, going 0 for 2 from the field. He did not score and had a rebound. And there's Rick Pitino, his 4th season with Louisville, looking for his 91st win coaching the Cards.
I tell you what, Rick Pitino should be right up there for Coach of the Year in college basketball with what he's had to deal with this year with all the injuries, the illness to Taekwon Dean. Otis George was out for a while. Francisco Garcia has been banged up, but yet they continue to win and dominate Conference USA.
Second turnover from Louisville. Here come the Horned Frogs. Shropshire at the 3-point line. Sloan on around to Niall Murray. Off the switch. Murray takes the shot from the point, and that's off the back iron. A foul call. Miles and Ibekunle got tangled up, and Ellis is whistled for his first foul. Neil Doherty used to coach at Kansas under Roy Williams, 3rd year at TCU. He's looking for his 41st win in a 19-win season.
Done a great job this year with the Horned Frogs, and it's made Fort Worth a tough place to go and play, John.
Tough to get the ball in, but there is Niall Murray. Corey Santee and Taekwon Dean isn't giving him much room.
This is a guy that's been battling ailments all year, so you know how tough that young man is.
Shropshire shoots for 3. Long rebound for Dean. Here's O'Bannon. Dean for 3. Follows his shot. That's how he's taught, and there's Palacios. Juan Palacios scores. All because Dean followed that miss.
Taekwon Dean is a baller. He gets after it. Each and every time I've seen him, he gives 100% effort, regardless of if he's healthy or not.
Jump ball, and the arrow favors Louisville, with Femi Ibekunle going for the ball, and it's a hell ball situation.
See here, Dean gets the shot off. Corey Santee has got to box out the shooter, resulting in an open layup. What TCU's got to concentrate on, John, they've been trying to beat this Louisville defense off the bounce. You can't do that. You've got to pass the basketball, get them moving, and then later on the shot clock when you have them off balance, then you can penetrate via the dribble.
Brent Hackett is in along with Blake Adams for TCU. And at the inline, Palacios lobbing it. It's tipped out of bounds by Shropshire, and Louisville will play it in with 23 on the shot clock.
See right there. Got Brent Reese Hackett in the game. Not going to score a whole lot of points, but a solid defender. You see, you got him on Larry O'Bannon, who's been the hottest player for Louisville ending the regular season.
Last 5 games, O'Bannon has averaged 18 points, 4 rebounds, 68% from the field, 59% from behind the arc, and he's 18 of 19 from the free throw line. And here's Garcia. The reverse for Miles. Garcia gets the assist, and Miles has scored as many points today as he did in the whole game in January against TCU at Freedom Hall.
You see, that's a great illustration of why Francisco Garcia is so good. He draws so much attention from the defensive end. He drew somewhat of a double team, leaving Miles alone on the baseline.
And here is TCU's Ibakunle turning it over. The 5th turnover. O'Bannon loses the ball out of bounds, but that was touched by TCU. 5 turnovers today for TCU, 6 the whole overtime game yesterday.
Let's take a look, John, at that last play by Francisco Garcia. See right here, he's going to get the screen right there. And then there's a double team, passes down the baseline. Ibakunle cannot get back quick enough. Ellis Miles for the layup.
Taekwon Dean, ball knocked out of bounds by Hackett. 25 on the shot clock. Garcia will be the trigger man on the inbounds pass, with Louisville pitching a shutout right now, 6-0. There's Dean in the backcourt. Hackett is trying to stay with him. Here comes a double team from Santee. Garcia for 3. Rattling in and out. Hackett to the front court. Adams steps up to the baseline, draws double team pressure, the spin move, and the basket by Blake Adams. Or excuse me, Aaron Curtis. Aaron Curtis in 29 minutes yesterday scored 11 points.
Aaron Curtis is one of those tough matchups. See Adams come up with the steal. TCU giving Louisville a little bit of their own medicine.
Now Adams at the point.
But Aaron Curtis, one of those tweener guys, 6'5", that can get out on the perimeter, but he loves mixing it up in the paint.
And here's Curtis working on Palacios, and the baseline pass out of bounds. The 6th turnover for TCU. And TCU has 1 field goal. This is it coming up. 6-2 Louisville at 15:53 left in the first half.
Welcome to the Kelly Tires 2005.
Big fella Pittsnoggle steps out and knocks down the threes, and they play a little unorthodox. It throws teams off a little bit, John, and it looked like they're hitting their stride at the right time.
In the meantime, TCU is trailing 6-2. Full court pressure on Louisville. Francisco Garcia brings it on across. Earlier, TCU forced a 10-second call. Blake Adams is watching Francisco Garcia. Miles open at the point. Now Adams is chasing Garcia. Good pass low, but Palacios couldn't score. Tries again and gets fouled.
Good
Palacios
job.
will shoot 2 here, Steve, with a foul on Curtis's first.
Coach Pitino wanted Juan Palacios to work in the paint a little bit more in the beginning of the year. He was more content to stay outside and shoot the jumper. But with that body that he has at 245 pounds, you see what kind of damage he can do in the paint.
Juan Diego Teo Palacios.
You say that awfully easy, John.
From Colombia. 33 minutes against TCU back in January. He had 23 points, 7 rebounds, 2 steals, and an assist. He goes 1 for 2 from the line. 3 points for Palacios today, 7-2 in favor of the Cards. Corey Santee, Brandon Jenkins is with him. Jenkins, a sophomore from Detroit, in for Louisville. Adams takes the lob pass out high.
I like Brandon Jenkins, who's in the game now for Louisville. One of those glue guys that we talk about, John. Does a little bit of everything well to help his team be successful.
Garcia knocked the ball away from Curtis and said, wait a minute, that went off Aaron Curtis. But that's not the call. As we update the Ameritrade scoreboard on your screen, checking out the Big East quarterfinals. And there it is, 50-30 West Virginia 16 minutes and counting in the second half. And off the air ball, here comes Francisco Garcia.
This is where he's dangerous, John.
Line drive rebound to Palacios, and he's tied up by Stubbs and fouled by Judson Stubbs, his first. Third team foul.
A lot of times we see in Conference USA, this conference does a better job than most. When the guards are coming up the floor, they look for a quick pick and roll to go into a three. Before Travis Diener at Marquette was hurt, that was one of his mainstays. Drake Diener in DePaul does the same thing, and Francisco Garcia does it as well as anyone in the country.
Ibakunle in for Judson Stubbs. Stubbs is out after committing the foul, and Dean handles the basketball. 30 on the shot clock. Miles sets the pick, and Jenkins keeps the ball on the outside with Garcia. TCU plays the zone. Garcia to an open Dean for a look. And a miss on the three-point attempt. Over the backboard and back to TCU.
Good play.
How was that set up, though, Stephen? The shot was there.
It was great floor spacing by Louisville. You saw Palacios slide up the lane and set the pick on the defender in the zone. Garcia makes two guys commit to him, and then he kicks to the weak side. That jumper will fall later on in the game for Taekwon Dean.
Murray from the outside. Curtis in heavy traffic. He needs some help. He finds Santee, who shoots for three. High arc and a long rebound for Taekwon Dean.
TCU can't find any rhythm under this tremendous defensive pressure from the Cardinals.
And in the scramble, Ibakunle finds his teammate Aaron Curtis, the fourth turnover for U of L. Curtis with the left hand after a terrific drive, and he has two field goals. 7-4 Louisville.
We talked about Aaron Curtis and the matchup problems that he poses. Ellis Miles is having to keep up with Aaron Curtis, who's really the size of a guard. He took advantage and got to the hole.
30-second timeout called by Louisville and coach Rick Pitino. And here is the drive after the turnover.
You see Curtis was probing the defense and then kicked it into high gear to split the defenders right there. And then gets to the hole with his offhand. Good job by Aaron Curtis.
Curtis caught Brandon Jenkins flat-footed. 2 for 3 from the field for Aaron Curtis coming off the bench. Went to Lon Morris Junior College before joining the TCU program. Well, the Cardinals, they're 26-4, and their best record over 30 games since going back to the 82-83 season under Denny Crum. They won their first Conference USA regular season title. They lost to Houston and Memphis in that 14-2 record. They've won 6 in a row since losing to Memphis February 9th, and they've won 15 of the last 16 games. The Cards are leading 7-4 with the ball.
You know, we talked about how this team has gone over injuries and whatnot and persevered as a result. Sometimes you think a hindrance is really a blessing in disguise. A lot of players like Brandon Jenkins got extended minutes when Taekwon Dean was out. Now he comes in ready to play.
Steve Welmer blows the whistle, calling a foul against Taekwon Dean. For Dean, his first. Second team foul. Marcus Shropshire back in.
And Shropshire's got to get going. TCU's got to find some ways to score the ball.
How smooth was Murray on the baseline jumper?
Now Murray, as we talked about, very difficult to stop. Has the ability to knock down a three, but can put it on the floor. And with those shoulders, he can hit you as well.
Garcia with the assist, and George has his second field goal today. How about the way Louisville's running the floor now? Back the other way and off the left hand. Murray just didn't have control of the basketball. Garcia for the Cardinals. Dean along the baseline, fanning it out for Palacios. He missed the three try, and a foul is called against George of Louisville, his first. Here's what we're talking about, the Cardinals getting back in transition.
And you see they're getting it done via the pass. They don't put it on the deck a whole lot. They get it up via the pass, swing the ball from one side to the other, and they find an opening in the paint.
9-6 in favor of Louisville. Full court pressure broken by Santee and the Horned Frogs. Shropshire short with that three-point attempt.
He's getting the shots, John, and just not converting.
0 for 5 behind the line for both teams.
Look at Garcia.
Palacios with the baseline attempt for a three-point shot. Santee on the run. Pass low,
nice job.
and Shropshire gets the assist. And that is Aaron Curtis's third field goal. 9-8 Louisville.
Basically a four-guard lineup for TCU. They're just beating Louisville down the floor. They secure the defensive rebound and push it. Run like their lives depend on it.
Here's Garcia. That was touched and still went in. Garcia's first field goal. Kyle Murray to the front court inside Palacios, and he traveled. We have a close one in the early going. Louisville 11, TCU 8, and 7 turnovers for TCU. And here's Louisville getting inside. TCU, what a lift by Aaron Curtis off the bench. He has scored 6.
Was not that sharp on the offensive end, missing some wide open threes. Score 11-8. Back to you guys.
Okay, coach, and here are the effects, I think, of TCU playing yesterday and Louisville having that break, and we thought we might see this in the early going.
Yeah, TCU just haven't found their stroke from the three-point land, but Louisville is not going to stay cold for long. So
no,
TCU is going to have to take advantage of these opportunities here early.
And there's the tip by Hackett and the steal. Shropshire, he'll bring it back around. 5 turnovers for U of L. Chance to pull within 1 or tie it with a 3. And here's Santee, number 3. High arc and off the rim. Ellis Miles on the outlet to Jenkins, and here's O'Bannon. Running into traffic, he's fouled. A reach is called. This on Hackett. The first for Brent Reese Hackett.
The foul is charged.
And so you don't want to put Louisville on the line. Very good free throw shooting ball club.
14 fouls against the Horned Frogs.
Now TCU has 14 fouls, so you don't want to send the Cardinals on a parade to the line because they will make you pay.
72.9% as a team from the free throw line compared to the Horned Frogs, 59%. Miles out high.
Look at the floor spacing of Louisville. That's what allows them, like Garcia and Taekwon Dean and O'Bannon, to penetrate in the paint.
And O'Bannon was cut off. Hackett with another nice defensive play, and as he drives, he's fouled from behind. Now let's go to Mike Gleason in Studio 66.
John, in Chicago update, Northwestern of Michigan, they're in a tight one. The Wolverines dropping 12.
Here, Hackett is on the line. He has another free throw coming. Judson Stubbs out. Ibakunle back in for the Horned Frogs.
Ibakunle has got the size and the strength to battle Ellis Miles in the paint, but still a little raw offensively. He's going to get a majority of his points off offensive rebounds and just plain hustle.
Here's Miles with the bounce pass low. Palacios, he was gathered and scored. He was under control. 5 for Juan Palacios.
Good job by Ellis Miles running the break that time, making the right decision on the bounce pass. Viable tool when you're going against a pressure defense, John, and have your center be able to break the press off the bounce.
Just one more weapon.
Oh, what an elbow by Ibakunle.
Ibakunle. And Miles comes away with the basketball. Jenkins too hard off the glass, but there's Miles for the rebound. Out to Garcia. A three-point attempt that won't go. Palacios in the volley out to Brandon Jenkins. Here's O'Bannon stepping up. The ball is poked away from Miles. Hackett, another steal. Corey Santee. And an offensive foul on Santee. That's his first foul.
Wow, what a series of events that time. You see Corey Santee probing, trying to figure out a way to get to the basket. O'Bannon, good job defensively.
5 team fouls on TCU. Miles will take the shot. That's an air ball. Indecision cost Ellis that time. Out of bounds to TCU.
Despite that air ball, he's really done a good job of handling the ball in the center of the court once he gets it against the pressure. But I tell you what, Miles showed me how strong he is, John. Ibakunle threw. It wasn't a nasty elbow. It's just in his move. Hit him right in the ribs, and Miles didn't flinch.
Santee on the drive. One-hander up, no. Ibakunle with the rebound. Clears some space and scores.
Garcia felt it that time.
Against full court pressure. Louisville brings the ball up the floor with a 1-point lead at 9-10 and counting. Miles is fouled. Sloan and Santee in that double team.
The foul is charged to number 32.
And this is on Sloan, his first, the 6th on TCU.
Take a look at Francisco Garcia. You see he draws all the attention from the defense, allowing his teammates to open looks. And then right there, you know he can do that.
Back to live action. Louisville with the ball. Miles. Palacios, a nice catch. An off-balance shot. Miles with the rebound and the follow. No. Palacios will be on the line. Right now, Louisville is just out hustling TCU underneath the offensive glass for Louisville. Along with Stephen Bardo, I'm John Rooney. And this is ESPN Plus coverage of the Kelly Tires Conference USA Men's Basketball Tournament. We have Louisville against TCU in our first game. Matt Doherty is on the sideline. And Mike Gleason will join us with Studio 66 cut-ins and at the half. Palacios with one more coming. He has scored 6, going 2 for 3 from the line, Stephen.
Louisville has made a nice adjustment, John, in that if TCU is going to go with basically 4 guards, then they're going to pound the offensive glass with Miles and Palacios. They've made an emphasis of that the last couple minutes.
Santee is out front now, and Louisville showing zone.
Nice adjustment here to give their defenders a little bit of a break here. TCU is having success getting to the bucket. They'll try to make TCU beat them over the top.
Now 8 on the shot clock. And Curtis has the ball knocked out of bounds. TCU's ball with 8 on the shot clock.
Coach Doherty is calling for motion here. I have a whole lot of time. Someone's going to have to create a shot.
Two-hand pass out front. Marcus Shropshire with 5 on the shot clock. All glass. And a foul on the loose ball. The foul is on Juan Palacios. That's his first. 5 team fouls on U of L. Marcus Sloan shoots 2.
They caught a break there, didn't they, John?
I think so. Sloan is a 49% shooter. 27 minutes against Marquette yesterday. 4 points, 5 rebounds with 1 assist and 3 steals. He missed them both. Now Murray slaps it out of bounds to Louisville. Off the bench, Judson Stubbs. He played at Miami-Dade Community College before joining the TCU program. And Sloan will go out.
Stubbs is going to primarily be a defender here in the paint, but he's going to have to concentrate on getting the glass clear, because when TCU gets the defensive rebound, they're able to get on the break.
Oh, Dean is wide open. He hit the front of the rim. Curtis on the outlet. Now Murray up the sideline. Santee in the middle.
Oh, nice screen by Curtis.
Santee is strong with his 3-point attempt. Palacios outlet to Taekwon Dean. Here's Ellis Miles.
There's a mismatch somewhere. Santee guarding Miles. They need to take Miles into the paint. Oh, nice job by Curtis adjusting.
Here's Dean getting past Shropshire for the bank shot.
Taekwon Dean is such a smart ball player. Finds his, the creases and the space he can slip into.
Terrific anticipation by Palacios. Ahead to Dean for the layup. Timeout, 30-second timeout for TCU after the steal and the quick basket by Louisville. 19-12 Cardinals.
Good job by Juan Palacios, the big freshman. Yeah, it's a Kentucky is battling for a #1 seed, so Louisville's got an impressive resume there.
5-second call, an impressive defensive stand against TCU. Louisville gets the ball back And we'll have it when we come back from our break. 19-12. The Cardinals are leading, and already TCU has turned the ball over 10 times.
Right there, now they lock up man-to-man Garcia, O'Bannon, and Dean, and then you have Palacios playing the zone there on the inbounder. Magnificent job of Louisville forcing the turnover.
Louisville has 7 points off 10 turnovers for TCU, yet TCU has caused 8 Louisville turnovers. And we have a 19-12 game. Juan Palacios has had some kind of game off the bench so far with 7 points and 8 rebounds. He has as many rebounds as TCU as a team. Now let's check on the Ameritrade scoreboard while this one moves along here in Memphis, as Boston College posting a comeback against West Virginia in the second half with over 8 minutes to go.
You talk about the dominance on the glass, in particular by Palacios. Louisville assistant Vince Taylor was talking today that the keys in his mind were that Louisville needs to get back in transition and find the shooters, which they've done a good job of, and they need to control the glass, and Juan Palacios was obviously listening in the locker room before coming out.
Ellis Miles, a 57% shooter from the free throw line, has one more coming. He has scored a field goal today.
There's Vince on the left and Reggie Theus on the right. Reggie Theus, long-time NBA career. His name is being bounced around for various jobs that are opening right now, one of them being Loyola Marymount. So the coaching carousel will continue as we get deeper into the NCAA playoffs.
It always does. Neiman Owens, number 5, is in for TCU. Here's Aaron Curtis stepping up off the glass, rattled out. Palacios with a one-hand rebound. He has 9 boards.
There's that early pick in that secondary transition. Good job by TCU.
And a timeout call. Once Garcia was sandwiched in by Hackett and Curtis, he was yelling for the time.
Hard at it. And
being a gym rat, he's going to get it done.
That's a bunch of points. Over 3,000 points with that trio. And those are current point totals. 15 on the shot clock for Louisville.
Look at the floor spacing of Louisville right now. They're running a flex offense.
Here's the steal. Curtis gets a handle on it in the corner, finds Stubbs, and Stubbs is fouled. Palacios was trying to get back defensively, and he picks up his second foul.
If it's not for Aaron Curtis of TCU, they're not in the ball game right now. He's doing it on both ends of the floor, taking advantage of his size difference and his quickness against the Louisville big men.
57% from the line for Judson Stubbs. He gets the roll on the first one.
TCU, as you mentioned earlier, John, struggles from the line, but this time of year, it's so critical to take advantage of those opportunities.
That's the first point in 3 minutes for TCU. And there's now Murray. A shot for 3. No good for Stubbs.
Now, watch Louisville. They'll go into their motion offense. You'll see 3 or 4 guys outside of the three-point line, allowing driving lanes.
That rims out. Miles is there for the rebound. A strong offensive rebound. And Palacios misses off the glass, gets it back. The volley is won finally by Judson Stubbs. Here's Curtis in on Dean. O'Bannon got a hand on the ball.
Oh,
and
man.
There's a train wreck. And a foul against Palacios. That's his third.
Tell you what, now Murray's glad he did his work in the weight room. Look at the
contact everywhere, Stephen.
Oh, man. Look at that right there. Now Murray runs into 245 pounds of Palacios, and they're just going at it. But I like this, John. The officials are letting the teams play, letting them dictate the tempo on the floor.
Now Murray shoots 1 and 1 after Palacios commits his third foul. Palacios has scored 7 points with 10 rebounds. We have 5:38 left in the first half. Let's take a moment to now thank our Conference USA corporate partner Kelly Tires. A good deal on a great tire, presenting this Conference USA Men's Basketball Championship Tournament. Murray made 2, give him 4 points for the first half. Santee in, Shropshire out for the Horned Frogs. A 19-15 game with TCU hanging around in the first half.
Really slowed this high-powered attack of Louisville down with a mixture of pressure defense. They come back into a zone. They'll go three-quarter court, 1-2-2 type of zone pressure, and so they've kept Louisville off balance.
Here's Miles with the one-hander. George with the rebound. He misses the follow. Aaron Curtis to the front court. And a foul on Curtis with the veteran Francisco Garcia just holding his ground.
See, that's a heads-up play by Garcia. He knows that Aaron Curtis is not used to handling the basketball in that situation. Most guys that play in the post, when they have the basketball, don't understand the concept of stopping after you pass the ball.
Brandon Jenkins to the front court. That's 11 turnovers for TCU. 5 more than the entire overtime game yesterday. TCU turned the ball over 23 times, losing in January. O'Bannon with an air ball. He hasn't scored yet. Lots of purple around the basket. The ball is out of bounds to Louisville.
You saw Ellis Miles make the motion to the referee. He's body bumping me, ref, but I'm sure that's not what he said.
Well, something like that.
Right.
You're paraphrasing.
Right.
Here's Miles splitting a double team, finding George for the dunk. Otis George has 6, and Miles picks up a terrific assist.
Miles has done a solid job of playmaking this afternoon here against the pressure of the Horned Frogs.
Louisville had been 0 for 7 before that dunk.
Well, Marcus Shropshire looks like he's gun shy after missing his first three-point attempt.
The last field goal for TCU came over 5 minutes ago. Santee along the end line. He stepped out. 12 turnovers for the Horned Frogs.
Starting to look a lot like that game we did in Freedom Hall, John.
Doesn't it, though?
You know, they're very fortunate Louisville is not hitting their threes.
Not yet.
Exactly. Because it would be similar if they were down. They might have been down 20 in the first half.
Against full court pressure. That's broken by Garcia's pass to Jenkins. Otis George too strong off the glass. Miles another offensive rebound, and he'll go to the line. Miles will be on the line when we come back from this commercial break. And U of L has a 21-15 lead. 2 on that wraparound pass to Otis George.
Basket looks a lot bigger. TCU, they have to slow down. Too many turnovers. Curtis going too fast. He took a bad shot late in the half, and then he had that offensive foul. They need to slow down once they break the pressure and make better decisions.
Well, tournament play opened up in the Big Ten SEC, and things are really heating up in the Big East. We'll have scores and highlights coming up on the Century Investments halftime report. John?
Okay, Mr. Gleason. 0 for 7 for TCU from behind the arc, and the Cardinals are 0 for 10 on three-point attempts. Ellis Miles, he had a couple of practice shots that he missed the last time there, and that was dead center.
Ellis is still a little bit upset with himself, not able to convert. But they have really done a good job of keeping the pressure on the smaller Horned Frogs around the glass.
Perfect that time to the line. 4 points for Miles, 8 rebounds, and at least 3 of those on the offensive glass for Ellis Miles as the Cards lead 23-15. Under 4 minutes left in the first half, and Shropshire he hit the shoe instead of the floor. But that is TCU's ball. I thought that was off Shropshire.
They've got 6 seconds to get across half court.
And here's Murray getting the job done. And on the sideline, the ball will go the other way. That's the 13th Horned Frog turnover. And just like Matt Doherty was saying,
yes,
slow it down just a little bit to avoid making the mistake.
He hit it on the head. Saw that Clemson Maryland score. Clemson giving it to Maryland here in the second half. So it's typical of these conference tournaments, boy. You see some strange games.
There's the first three-point field goal today, and it belongs to Francisco Garcia. He has 5 first half points. Shropshire. The miss Ibakunle cannot get the rebound off his hand out of bounds. And here's our first 3 ball of the day.
Nice dribble handoff, and you see Miles put that oomph out there to pick off the defender, give his teammates some space.
O'Bannon attempts a 3. On the bounce to Corey Santee. Santee was a good move on Garcia, but he just threw the ball away to Brandon Jenkins. O'Bannon missed that 3-point attempt. Ibakunle tips it over to Corey Santee. Under 3 minutes left in the first half. Santee weaving through the lane. Miles pops that up to Otis George. Jenkins pushes to Garcia.
Nice job by Garcia pulling it back. He knows, John, if they score here, they could be up 13-14. That would be huge with 2.5 left in the first half.
Back door. Great catch by Garcia, and he scored it.
That's why these upperclassmen are so important. Got a junior that has played here in Conference USA, knows the situations in games, and can put his team in position to be successful.
Santee stripped of the ball. George ahead to Miles. Miles with the layup.
Ooh. He blew one of those Kelly tires going to the hole, didn't he?
Didn't he, though? 2:05 to go until halftime, and Louisville is running and rolling.
Go back to Francisco Garcia. He's going to get a pick here from Otis George. And then right here, Ellis Miles is going to dribble, handoff right there. Lays a nice hip pick, if you will, on Niall Murray to free up Garcia. And look at the hands right there by O'Bannon. You always have to worry about Louisville when you're penetrating those quick hands on the defensive end.
With that basket, U of L is on an 11-0 run, coming down to 2:05 left in the first half, doubling the score on TCU. Coming up on the American Century Investments halftime report, we'll check out a possible Big East upset. The Big Ten opener in Chicago. The ACC is underway in our nation's capital, and a recap of what has taken place in the first half right here between TCU and Louisville, with Louisville putting on a late first half surge to lead 30-15.
Louisville's like a lot of the top teams in the country. They'll go with you for a while, then they hit you with a 12-2 run, 15-2 run, then they have you on your heels. Before you know it, you got an uphill battle the rest of the game.
TCU's last field goal came with 9 minutes and 19 seconds on the first half clock. Hackett too strong. On the outlet, here's Garcia. Lorenzo Wade out to Garcia. Wade is a freshman from Las Vegas in the rotation now for Louisville. Brandon Jenkins almost fell over the midcourt line and threw it away to Curtis. Here's Murray. An air ball on the 3-point attempt, out of bounds. 33 seconds on the shot clock.
And unlike a lot of teams, John, if they are hitting from the 3, they'll stop shooting it. Not TCU. They're going to continue to let it go when they have the opportunity.
Brad Giannini will come in for Louisville. Garcia gets a breather, down to 1:21 left in the half. 0 for 10 for TCU today. 1 out of 13 at Garcia 3-ball. Here's Stubbs. That's a 3. There's the first for the Horned Frogs.
Stubbs finally got that one down, but half of TCU's shots yesterday were 3s. They were 8 for 32 from the 3-point line, so they're just getting warmed up.
Giannini. Coach Doherty's son, Neil Pete Doherty, guarding Giannini. As Miles steps up. Jenkins from the corner. Count it.
Once again, Ellis Miles making plays off the bounce.
33-18 after that 3-ball by Jenkins. Here's Doherty. In on Giannini, and Giannini got a hand on it, and he's called for a foul. The Louisville fans are saying, wait a minute, that was all ball.
It looked all ball, my vantage point. Stubbs, who was struggling early, gets the first one down. And look at Miles right there. Does enough to freeze Hackett to allow Brandon Jenkins the space to get the 3 off.
8th team foul on Louisville with 35.5 seconds to go in the first half. And 2 shots here for Neil P. Doherty. 5 minutes against Louisville. He did not score. He had 1 rebound back in January. He scores here.
Tell you what, if he's anything like his father, he can shoot the ball. We saw Coach Doherty in practice. Boy, he's got a picture-perfect jumper. Still plays in great shape. Wonder if he's passed that on to the younger Neil P. Doherty.
Well, Neil P. Doherty is 4 for 12 from the free throw line. 4 for 21 from the field, but he's had limited playing time. They have to get into rotation and get the feel of things. He was taking the ball to the basket when he was fouled and goes 1 for 2 from the line here.
The only starter in the game right now is Niall Murray for TCU.
Here's Miles. He's watched by Art Pierce. Pierce goes to the floor for it. Saved by Francisco Garcia. Here's Dean shooting for 3. In there as he's falling down.
That's a backbreaker right there.
The time running down. No shot. He didn't get the shot away before the horn. And Louisville on a late first half surge just runs ahead of TCU 36-19 at halftime. And here is your backbreaker 3 by Taekwon Dean.
Just out of the scramble, we didn't see the earlier part, but Francisco Garcia comes up with the loose ball, throws cross court. Jenkins finds Dean wide open from 3.
Dean
Those
has
are those
7.
hits that they hit you with.
7 in the first half for Dean, and let's go to Studio 66 and Mike Gleason.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Taekwon Dean opened up the game.
Nice teamwork by Ellis Miles.
Great wraparound pass, and then Taekwon Dean hit a 3 falling down toward the end of the half. And the ball belongs to TCU, opening the second half with Louisville leading 36-19. Shropshire out front takes the pass from Murray. Louisville Santee also on the outside for TCU.
Louisville back into that zone defense, trying to make TCU beat them over the top, especially since they only went 1 of 11 from three-point land in the first half.
Inside 10 seconds on the shot clock. O'Bannon with the steal. And here is O'Bannon's layup. That's his first field goal today, opening the second half for Louisville.
And he comes back grimacing, John, like he jammed his ankle or something on the way up. We've seen a couple blown tires that would look like they would have been dunks, but end up being ugly layups.
Ibakunle in. He gets the basket and is fouled.
See Femi getting it done there. Now that's a tough bounce pass from that angle, from that far apart. You're asking for a turnover in that situation for Corey Santee.
From yesterday to today, second half and overtime yesterday, 7 out of 41. And you combine the first half today, only 20% shooting for TCU.
They've had their opportunities. They, you know, Shropshire's had 2 or 3 threes. Santee's had his share. Just haven't found the bottom of the net yet.
Ibakunle with a 3-point play. Back to the other end, and what a circus shot. Taekwon Dean has scored 9.
It's interesting that he's from Red Bank, New Jersey, because the bank is definitely open for him this afternoon.
Yeah, banking it off the glass for a couple of his field goals. Here's Santee. In and out, then in.
Corey Santee is such a tough defend on his shot, John, because he almost shoots a set shot. So you don't know if he's going to raise up or pass the ball, so very tough.
Sloan picks Dean, then takes it in for the layup.
Good job by Marcus Sloan using his 6'9" frame on the defensive end.
Louisville has called the timeout. Taekwon Dean ended the first half with a 3 ball, and he is off and rolling here in the second half with Louisville up 40-27. And some purple in the stands today. Young TCU fan watching the Horned Frogs put on a little run, 3 for 3, shooting since halftime, and thanks to defense like this, maybe this can get them back in.
Yeah, Marcus Sloan did a good job. He held his ground, didn't go for the steal, and Taekwon Dean exposed the rock. Sloan took advantage.
Full court pressure again on the Cardinals with Francisco Garcia into Taekwon Dean. There's the double team. Dean uses that off arm to get past Shropshire.
Boy, he is quick along the baseline with his offhand left hand going against two guys pressuring him. He maintains control and gets his team an opportunity.
O'Bannon has scored 2 points today, averaging 15-5 a game. Dean to O'Bannon at the point. And we'll check out the Ameritrade scoreboard as Boston College lost. And that's a 3-ball for O'Bannon.
And O'Bannon, we talked about earlier, John, been the hottest player lately for Louisville. Got a slow start, but it seems to find his eye now.
He's capable of getting 15 points in the second half, no question. He had a 26-point first half for a school record at Freedom Hall this season. Here's Taekwon Dean in the front court now for the Cardinals. Garcia. He wants the floor balanced. George comes out to take the pass.
See, no one's in the paint right now. Just all that space right there in the line. Francisco Garcia, if he gets the ball, penetrate and make plays.
Miles saved the ball once the ball came squirting out of O'Bannon's hands. 8 on the shot clock. Here's Garcia in on Murray. Good pick set. O'Bannon from the corner. Counted a 3-ball. He has 8.
And he knew where he was going with that one.
And Francisco Garcia right into our statistician, Jeff Nelson. Good save there, Jeff. Way to go, buddy.
And you saw this. Garcia knew exactly what he was going to do. He was looking for O'Bannon. Weak side. Watch this. As soon as he gets past the pick, he looks up, throws a skip pass, and he knows O'Bannon is hot right now. He's got to keep feeding him the rock. Francisco Garcia is one of those guys that you love to play with, John, because if you're open, he's going to find you. And he can score the ball, but he's unselfish, total team player.
He's a passer, a shooter, and a terrific defender.
Yes, he is.
TCU 20 on the shot clock and a reach call.
Foul is charged to the Cardinals, number 32.
Here's Garcia's first foul. And today's game is brought to you by the best seats for every event. No tickets required. It only happens in one place, only Vegas. TCU's ball after the Garcia foul. Ibakunle. And Santee backdoor for just a moment, but that was lost. Hackett will circle out of the corner and bring it out front.
This is where TCU has struggled.
Inside, Ibakunle with the dunk.
Nice post feed.
And he has 7, 5 of those in the second half.
Nice post feed by Reese Hackett.
Miles pulling up. Finding Dean at the 3-point line. Automatic. Louisville was 0 for 10 behind the arc before making 3 of the next 5 to close out the first half.
We said before, they're not going to keep missing those threes. Sooner or later, they're going to find their stroke. As you see right there, Louisville's caught fire.
6 out of the last 8 from behind the arc. And there's a steal for the Cardinals with Miles running the floor. O'Bannon for the reverse. O'Bannon. 10 second half points and a chance for number 11. The 3rd foul on Sloan. And O'Bannon will be on the line when we come back. But look at the Cardinals run the floor. 3 for Taekwon Dean. And here's O'Bannon with his magic along the baseline.
And Caravan.
I got the Caravan I wanted.
We got a DVD.
Louisville 51, TCU 29. The Cardinals are 6 for 6 from the field since the second half started. Louisville could pressure a team one into the floor to the other. And here's usually what happens.
Well, Niall Murray's had that happen twice this afternoon, trying to make a penetrating move, and someone gets a hand on the ball and knocks it loose, and O'Bannon knows what to do with it on the other end.
O'Bannon goes to the free throw line after a timeout, looking for his 11th point after failing to score in the first half. 11 indeed.
Larry O'Bannon, they call him Little Junior Bridgman around Louisville. Junior Bridgman, the terrific ball player at Louisville and Milwaukee Bucks.
Dean to Garcia, fouled, and he'll shoot 2.
And Bridgman, even better businessman now, owns a number of fast food restaurants, and they think Larry O'Bannon is cut out of the same mold.
Look at that. There's the quickness you're talking about with Taekwon Dean. Fred Reese Hackett committed his second foul, putting Garcia on the line. There's the shooter's roll and bounce. One more coming up for the junior from the Bronx, New York.
And it's a beautiful thing when you're up big like this, and Garcia, your leading scorer and best player, has 8 points.
9 now, and 54-29 Louisville. Here's Hackett in the front court. Santee guarded by Garcia.
What Louisville has improved on this year more so than years past, John, I believe, is when they see blood, they attack. I mean, they really close teams out.
Santee with a floater that goes. He has 5. And the impressive thing about that, Stephen, is injured and illness that has hit the Louisville team. Whoever's on the floor seems to contribute. I mean, they have to for a 26-4 record. Taekwon Dean for 3. Line drive rebound to O'Bannon. He draws contact and will shoot 2. The body's hitting the deck. Larry O'Bannon will attempt a couple of free throws. Eamon Owens committed his first personal foul, putting O'Bannon back to the line.
See there, nice follow right there. O'Bannon using his strength in the paint. Really got that up strong. Took a lot of contact and still got it above the shoulder area.
12 for O'Bannon. Free throw shooting in Conference USA. Steve Novak of Marquette, Drake Diener of DePaul, 90.5%. Then Larry O'Bannon at 86.8%.
That's getting it done from the line. That's making people pay. And Louisville as a team does a good job of that, but O'Bannon in particular. Mark him down.
13 for O'Bannon. He's just 2 off his season average after failing to score in the first half. That's what makes that impressive. Here's Curtis with the turnaround. Jenkins lost it out of bounds. Stubbs was contesting.
TCU had the right idea that time. Got the ball to Curtis right in the teeth of the zone. He was wide open.
Into Stubbs. Rejected by Garcia. George to Jenkins, and here come the Cards.
He saw George's eyes light up. He wanted to pick that ball up and handle it, but he's right next to Pitino. Smart decision by Otis George.
Miles has the ball poked away by Judson Stubbs. Louisville has 22 to work with on the shot clock.
Those big men like to handle the ball every now and then, whether they can or not, John. And right there, you can see the block party going on down here at the TCU end.
Well, the opportunities to run the floor can be few and far between for the big guys. So always taught, get that ball to the guards.
That's right. And you want to reward them because they work so hard. The guards go typically from top of the key, free throw line, top of the key, but the big men go baseline to baseline. They're banging the whole time. So you want to reward your big fellas when they work hard.
Over the shoulder, and a two-hand slam by O'Bannon on the alley-oop.
Oh, here comes the boom.
There's your Sports Center highlight out of this game.
Tell you what, O'Bannon is coming alive here in the second half. He wanted to keep that streak going on those last 5 games, John.
Here's Stubbs with a good catch, blocked by Garcia. He has 2 blocks here in the second half. Jenkins, low for George, he got it. Bullet pass by Brandon Jenkins for the assist.
And the pressure cooker continues for Louisville. You see, they don't let up at all. They speed you up. There it is.
Here's Ellis Miles. Garcia for 3.
Oh, man. And the blitz is on.
Talking about that killer attitude, this is it. Louisville has bolted to a 63-31 lead with 13:01 to go in the second half.
Team understands what they have to do, John, in every situation. They knew they had TCU down, and they just turn it up. What a live play right there. And who's throwing the pass? The center, Ellis Miles. And as DMX would say, here comes the boom. Oh, what a play by Larry O'Bannon.
And there's the Garcia block. Jenkins running the floor. Watch this pass.
That's pretty basketball. And see, that's why Otis George is trying to push the rock, because he sees his fellow big man doing it.
A 9-0 run for Louisville in the course of a 17-2 run. But they've scored the last 9, giving the Cardinals a 63-31 advantage. Under 13 to go in the second half. And it's going to be a long 13 for TCU.
It sure is. If they continue to do what they tried right there, double team the first pass, they're going to continue to speed TCU up.
Third foul for Otis George. My goodness. Louisville's putting on a clinic in the second half.
They really are.
A real clinic. Defensively, how you take it away, and then how you run the floor.
Yeah, and we talk about them speeding the opposing teams up. They've done it all season. They just hit you with all those runs. Oh,
there's the dunk by Curtis off the inbounds pass. He has 8.
Curtis giving it back to Louisville, some of that dunk stuff.
There's Jenkins in the front court. Out of bounds, 23 on the shot clock.
Yeah, you see TCU they're just playing for pride now, John. Down 30 with a little bit more than 12 left. I don't see a total collapse of this Cardinals ball club, so.
Palacios, air ball. After Palacios had a good first half with 7 points, he had foul trouble. And off the miss, a foul call. And Palacios is called for his 4th foul.
So we were talking to the assistants from Louisville before the game, and they were talking about trying to project where Louisville might start the NCAA tournament. And wouldn't be surprised to see the Cardinals in Indianapolis to start. Not necessarily in the Midwest region, but you know how the NCAA does the pod system now. They'll be close to Louisville because they travel well, and I'll be surprised if they don't get a number 2 seed.
Louisville on the attack. A 30-point lead for the Cardinals. Here's Miles in on Ibakunle. Short, and there's Curtis coming up with the ball for TCU. Santee. Quickness cut off by Taekwon Dean. No travel call, and Santee scores. Steve Wilmer was saying the ball was touched. That's why there wasn't a turnover whistle.
I don't know very many people that know anything about college basketball that are going to argue with Steve Wilmer, one of the best in the business.
Oh, Taekwon Dean kept it alive somehow. Ibakunle takes the ball away from Miles for TCU.
Oh, good look.
And the score by Curtis. 10 for Curtis. Coming down to 11 minutes left in the second half. 63-37 Cardinals with Louisville on the way to victory number 27.
See Garcia and Otis going to check in. Garcia screaming at his teammates, telling them to protect the ball like a coach on the sideline.
He's like a coach on the floor, Stephen. O'Bannon fans it out. Miles drops it in.
And see, now Louisville has altered their plan right now. They're working on things that they want to do for later on in the tournament.
Yo-yo move by Santee. Give him 9. That was right off the playground.
Yes, it was. Fine line of guards that have come out of Flint, Michigan, last 15 years. On the Flintstones. Found his way all the way down to Fort Worth, Texas. I bet he likes it down in Fort Worth in the wintertime more than he would back home in Flint.
Ellis Miles in on Femi Ibakunle. Ibakunle and scores it. Nice move to the baseline. The drop step in the basket, giving him 10. Miles scored only 2 against TCU in Louisville. Shropshire drops in a 3. His only field goal so far today.
It's unfortunate. Shropshire, 41% three-point shooter, just couldn't get it going this afternoon. They needed him desperately.
Jenkins all the way in. He has 5. We're just watching the back and forth right now. 69-42 Cardinals. Murray low to Ibakunle for the dunk.
Yeah, the defense is, as you would expect, the defense is going to drop off in a 25-point game.
69-44 Cardinals, coming down to 9 minutes left in the second half. The lob low for O'Bannon. 17 for O'Bannon, and I said his average is 15. He didn't score in the first half. Here's Murray. From the corner, Shropshire hits his second 3 ball.
Oh, it's heating up here, isn't it? In a hurry.
71-47. 8:50 and counting in the second half. Ellis Miles slows the pace. Here's O'Bannon falling down, and a foul called on Shropshire. Marcus Shropshire commits his second foul. And as we go to break, here's some of the activity from the second half with O'Bannon over the shoulder. And we'll check out what's going on in the Mountain West when we come back.
But now it's 24-20, Utah on top of Colorado State.
All right, Mike, and Bobby Petrino, the U of L football coach, is watching Rick Pitino's Louisville Cardinals. The running Cards today, 71-47 in favor of Louisville. Won the 2004 Liberty Bowl by 4 over Boise State.
That was the best bowl game of the bowl season right there.
Louisville's ball after the timeout. 8:45 to play in the second half. The Cardinals ready to move on. How about that leap and catch? And here's Garcia. An air ball. George just takes it away, and Steve Wilmer says no, that's a held ball. The arrow favors Louisville.
And Garcia will swear to you after the game that was a pass. Skip pass that just happened to go over the basket in the hands of Otis George.
He saw Otis there, just how he decided to get the ball to him, right?
That's right. Over the defense.
Here's Wade up to Garcia. Garcia quickly inside. Otis George, nice hands. Jenkins out front. 10 on the shot clock. Jenkins from the point. A 3 ball. He has 8 and has scored his second 3-point field goal today.
Coach Doherty talked at halftime how once one of those shots goes down, that basket seems very big, and now Louisville's just taking target practice.
Inside, Stubbs can't score, close in. George with the ball off Marcus Sloan. Louisville's ball. And we have a timeout on the floor here at the Conference USA Men's Basketball Tournament presented by Kelly Tires. We'll return to the FedEx Forum after these messages. The Men's Basketball Tournament, 74 for Louisville, 47 for TCU. Eddie Basden won the Conference Player of the Year, but here are the numbers for Basden and Garcia, as Garcia made a strong case for that honor.
Really did, and Garcia, as you mentioned earlier, is a very underrated defender. And I think Basden got over the top because he is a tremendous defender, one of the top defenders in the country.
Back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year in Conference USA and the Player of the Year, Eddie Basden, for this season. And Charlotte plays tonight against Memphis. Here's Garcia all the way in, and he'll go to the line. That's strong. That's a strong move. And to look at him, Stephen, you wouldn't think he's that strong.
Yeah, we had a chance to go in and talk with Coach Pitino earlier in the year before one of their games. And, you know, I was concerned that Francisco's body didn't reflect any work in the weight room. And he says, well, he came here at 160. He's 190 now, so he's put on 30 pounds of muscle. Doesn't look like it on that 6'8" frame, but he is a wiry, strong player.
15 for Francisco Garcia today, 77-47 Louisville. Louisville is back to its biggest lead of the afternoon. Brad Reese Hackett, T.O.P. Doherty. Here's Stubbs inside. Rolling off And the shot for three goes. Doherty has 4.
Hey, he's going to get his cuts up. He knows.
Wade in a double team. And he gets it back. Garcia to the front court, coming down to 7 minutes left in the game. From the corner, Wade misses. And the rebound to Marcus Sloan.
We saw Garcia come off the high screen and roll, and sometimes I would almost choose to double team Garcia. Just get the ball out of his hands and make someone else beat you, because he's so good in the decision-making process.
Larry O'Bannon did not score in the first half. He's the leading scorer for U of L today. Garcia 2 behind him, 5 behind Taekwon Dean, and Ellis Miles scored 10 after Miles scored just 2 points, 1 for a field goal shooting in 22 minutes against the Horned Frogs at Freedom Hall in January.
Although we saw the leading scorers, Palacios was impressive on the board today.
Foul trouble.
Yeah.
Put him on the bench. There's a nice pickup, but no score for Sloan. Stubbs kept the ball alive, only to go to Brandon Jenkins of Louisville.
Well, Brandon came out of a lot of traffic with the rock. Good job, ball handling.
Now he's facing up with Neiman Owens. Foul. The whistle blown by Steve Wellmer. And that's on Lorenzo Wade, his first.
Wade, freshman, that happens a lot. They leave their feet in the paint. You leave your feet when you're going to shoot a shot, not when you're making a pass.
Curtis will inbound to Santee as the Horned Frogs take possession. 77-50 Louisville with 6:13 to go in the second half. The top seeded Cardinals in the Conference USA tournament against the number 8 seed TCU. TCU's had a fine year at 19-12. Wade with the loose ball to the front court. The handoff to Garcia. Garcia thought Palacios was going to take it, and that's the way it ends up. 9 for Palacios today.
You see, Palacios is trying to beat Moses Malone and add to his rebounding totals right there. Had a chance to shoot it himself. Came to Garcia. Had the stats. Well, he is a find. I mean, from Medellin, Colombia.
He has just fouled out. With 9 points today, but as Stephen mentioned, was terrific on the boards. With double figures with 12 rebounds. And Palacios fouls out with 5:47 left.
And you're used to seeing Ellis Miles on the glass. He averages almost 10 a game, but Palacios doubling his season average. So that's putting in mad work on the glass.
In a short amount of time.
Yeah, by the freshman, though. I mean, this guy's he's built like an upperclassman, but bright future there for Louisville.
12 points for Aaron Curtis, who averages 7.2 a game for Neil Doherty. Against the full court pressure, Garcia to inbound. To Wade, back to Garcia, and up the floor for Miles. Miles all the way in. A shot for 3. On the line drive, here's Niall Murray. Murray moving into the front court on Francisco Garcia. Curtis had a strong pick. Here's Femi Ibakunle. And double and triple team pressure. Curtis low, and he's contested and fouled by Garcia. I think Garcia was a little upset by that pick a moment ago.
Yeah, I agree. Because he's talking to Otis George about that right now. See there, watch Garcia come after him. Good thing Curtis didn't get hurt on that. You know, players, when they leave the floor like that, they're vulnerable.
Another free throw coming up for Curtis, who has made 3 in a row.
Garcia is a little upset leaving the floor.
Jenkins and Garcia go out. Giannini returns for Louisville. Curtis has another free throw. This is with 5:19 left in the second half. And he has made 4 in a row from the line and scored 14 today.
Aaron Curtis, the senior, Really showed a lot of effort today and understood his role coming into the game. Being undersized, knew he had to use his quickness. Just wasn't enough for the Horned Frogs against this high-powered attack of Louisville. And they seem to be getting better and better as the season goes along.
Here's Miles drawing contact, and he'll be on the line with bodies flying everywhere. Let's go to Mike Gleason in Studio 66.
Well, Johnson Madness in the Big 12. 70-67 Missouri on top of Nebraska. McCray, the three for the tie. Rattles in, rattles out, doesn't go down. Missouri moves ahead 70-67 over the Huskers. John?
Nebraska came back to make that a close one.
Well, you know, people talk about the Big East this year, but the Big 12 is underrated. I think it's right up there with the Big East in terms of competitiveness throughout the league. You talk about Iowa State, Nebraska's beating people at home, took Kansas to the last second in Kansas. Then you got Oklahoma, who's one of the hottest teams in the country. Oklahoma State is a dangerous club. And then a Kansas team that's beat up with Aaron Miles, a little hurt, but when he gets healthy, they could be in St. Louis in the Final Four. Tremendous balance in that conference.
Ibakunle on the line. Ellis Miles committed his fourth foul. Another one for Ibakunle, and he missed them both. A one-hand rebound by Lorenzo Wade. Coming down to 4.5 minutes left. Conference USA basketball from Memphis, Tennessee. Out of bounds. 22 on the shot clock for Louisville. Art Pierce back in. He saw just a few seconds of action at the end of the first half. And Femi Ibakunle goes out. Ibakunle today has 9 points and just missed a couple of free throws.
Well, as we look moving forward here, TCU at 19-12. Well, 19-13 if this game stays the way it's going right now.
O'Bannon is fouled. He'll have a chance to score with the clock stopped.
They will have an opportunity for postseason play. Probably won't be the NCAA's, but we're looking at NIT Berg.
At the free throw line for the Cardinals, Larry O'Bannon, shooting
Third foul on Aaron Curtis, and 2 shots here for O'Bannon. Missed that one. 17 for O'Bannon today. In his final career home game at Freedom Hall, O'Bannon scored a career-high 33, including a school record 26 in the first half to beat Charlie. And O'Bannon in the second half has scored 18 today. 80-54 Cardinals.
A funny thing happens when guys become seniors, John. Those first 3 years are a blur. And all of a sudden, there's a sense of urgency that takes over. And you see inspired effort by seniors all over the country. And it's a different day and age in college basketball with so many young people going directly to the NBA. A team that has juniors and seniors on it will have a competitive advantage.
Here is Ellis Miles, and he's had a good game today. Miles, and then I say that. There's the miss. Otis George with the loose ball. But Miles done a decent job of running the floor, working hard as he always does on the boards. And Lorenzo Wade missed the dunk. Oh, he quickly got to the rim, but couldn't finish the deal.
Oh, that's the prettiest missed dunk I've seen all season. Oh, Wade getting funky along the baseline. Young man's got some hidden hops in those legs. Oh, my goodness.
They're not hidden anymore.
Oh, shoot. Just came out of my seat over here, John.
I think everybody on the Louisville bench went for the loose ball. That's how far out that missed dunk went.
Now Louisville has to be careful.
George for the dunk. And fouled by Pierce. 10 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists for Ellis Miles.
Wow.
The old triple-double. When we come back, we're going to have some interesting by-play with Matt Doherty and Stephen Bardo, a little ACC Big Ten talk. Stay with us.
And then the dam's going to break, and here comes the flood, and that's what happened against TCU this afternoon.
All right, Stephen, you got something for the coach here?
No, we were talking in break with Coach Doherty. And, Coach, I want to hear your take You said that you thought Illinois wouldn't run the table. You said they might come out early in the tournament. Want to hear your feedback on that?
Well, Bardo, I know you're an Illinois guy, so don't get too defensive when I bring this up.
I don't get defensive. They're number one. I don't have to. They're number one in the country.
You know,
Remember,
speaking
Coach,
of defense,
he's down here.
Speaking of defense, I heard you never played a lick of defense, speaking about being defensive. But anyway, I think the issue with Illinois, and the reason why I like Carolina, not just because I played and coached there.
Right.
And Carolina has an interior scorer in Sean May. Illinois relies more heavily on the outside shot. During the course of the season, when you know you have a game, you know, the next game, you know you're going to play more games, you can shoot the ball with a lot more freedom than you do in postseason, knowing in one game and you're out. I think your release becomes a little bit more tight.
I like that point. I also will counter with this, however. Sean May is a terrific ball player, along with Jawad Williams and the young Marvin Williams. All outstanding, but big guys can't hurt you if they don't get the ball.
Raymond Felton, I think, will dice up any defense that D. Brown can throw at him.
Okay.
Hey, Stephen.
Yes.
Tell your Illinois buddies, box out. Box out. That's the bottom line.
Box out.
Box out.
Okay. All right. I think you guys need to call Wake Forest and ask Chris Paul what D. Brown can do on the defensive end.
I thought I had the referee's jersey on there for a moment.
I love it. I love it. That's good stuff, man.
2:10 and counting in this one. 83-57 in favor of Louisville. Hackett on the outside. Adams. And Doherty finds Adams again. 8 on the shot clock. Long three, and it goes. That's 2 of those for Neil P. Doherty today. He has 7 points. 83-60 Cardinals, who will move on to the semifinals to play the winner of UAB and DePaul tomorrow. Lorenzo Wade. Oh, nice hands. Perrin Johnson tries to flip the ball to Current in the corner, and it's out of bounds.
Good to see some of the players that are so important for the team's success. Some of the bench players that don't get an opportunity to get in the game get a chance to play in this situation. These guys work as hard as the so-called stars on the team, but rarely get to see game action.
Current off the miss, and here come the Horned Frogs. Hackett, Doherty. Pierce out to Hackett, fakes the 3, steps up, shoots from the free throw line. A one-hand rebound inside, lost out of bounds. And now time for our Phillips 66 player of the game, Ellis Miles. Only the second triple-double in school history. The first triple-double in the history of the Conference USA tournament. 10, 10, and 10. Points, rebounds, and assists. Samaki Walker had 14 points, 10 rebounds, 11 blocks against Kentucky on the 1st of January 1995. An 88-86 Louisville win.
Ellis Miles just showing his versatility as a center.
Well, please continue.
With 10 assists, and just did it all this afternoon. He looked like he got frustrated early. Was getting bumped a little bit by Ibekumle inside, but you see there, he just keeps pushing, keeps going away, and right there, you see the 10th assist to Otis George. Magnificent game for Ellis Miles.
Ellis Miles, 10 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Second triple-double in U of L history. Samaki Walker the other back in 1995. Wade is on the scoreboard. Lorenzo Wade, a freshman from Las Vegas, played 12 minutes against TCU in Louisville and scored 9 points, 2 rebounds and a block shot.
He's going to be a good one. Not a lot of minutes for him behind O'Bannon, Dean, and Francisco Garcia, but he's got that size similar to a Garcia lefty. He's going to be a good one for the Cardinals.
Neil P. Doherty against the zone. Barkley back to Doherty, and here's Pierce with the turnout, and it's blocked. Terrence Farley with the block shot. 6'10 freshman, Pleasure Ridge Park High School in Louisville.
Give me that and get it out. Don't bring that weak stuff in here.
The 5th block for Louisville today as a team. Here's Hackett to Doherty. Doherty is tied up by Lorenzo Wade, and a foul call. And it's on Wade. Wade thought he had a held ball there, his second foul. And the Conference USA Coach of the Year, winning the Ray Meyer Award, 109-53 at U of L, and on the way to a 27th win for the Cardinals today. Rick Pitino, first Conference USA Coach of the Year award.
Really done an outstanding job with his team and getting them to peak at the right time. We've seen in years past Louisville would hit their stride 2/3 of the way through the conference and then kind of peter out in the NCAA tournament. But these guys, maybe due to some of those injuries, John, they were able to rest some of their players and get them healthy again. And now guys like Brandon Jenkins, we said before, Juan Palacios are ready to play and should be primed to make a run in the NCAA tournament.
With Louisville holding the ball, running out the clock, the Cardinals are on their way to the semifinals to play the winner of UAB and DePaul coming up. And that's it, 85-61. Louisville indeed wins its 27th game of the year, 27-4, while TCU has a 19-13 record, losing a couple of times this season to the Cardinals. Louisville had a halftime lead of 36-19 and then opened the game 85-61. And indeed, Louisville looks sharp right now. And let's check out our brackets. With Louisville winning, UAP and DePaul will be coming up.